Hello, hello, Taurus. Welcome to your March 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Taurus. And while I'm picking out these oracle cards, just go ahead and notice anything that's coming up in your body. Pay attention to any messages that you'd like to have answers to or whatever. And I have kind of dedicated this month's reading to be like a spring theme. So, well, it's spring up here in the Northern Hemisphere. That's what we're going into. So, it's all about abundance and growth. So I hope that you enjoy it. I'm going to lay this spread down and then we will get started. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the truth bomb for you this month is angels, angels everywhere. So remember that, and I get asked this quite a bit when people are working with angels and like what the deal is. Angels can be put to work for you. So you are basically in charge and dispatching them to do things for you. It's not like certain people have certain angels and it's like you're limited in what you do. So remember that you can always call on them for help, like especially if you're not into the whole like spirit guide thing or healing master thing or anything like that. I would say just ask an angel, like if you ever need help or anything like that, that's like a quick prayer, a quick way to get help for yourself and to figure out a situation. You can always call on angels. So don't forget, they're here for you. They're here to work for you. Okay, and then we have endings. So a chapter is coming to an end and a new one is beginning. What do you feel like this is for yourself? The intuitive hit that you get about this card is probably what this situation is about. So, or that's the correct situation that this is referring to. So I would just, you know, keep your eyes peeled for that and be intentional with the space that comes from this. Okay, and then the animal card is snake. So I'm getting that this month is really going to require you to be adaptable to whatever circumstances and situations come up, because if you're resisting the way that things are going, or if you're wanting to force something, that's not going to be a good long-term plan. You want to kind of go with the ebbs and flows. You want to, you know, when an obstacle presents itself, you know, you want to figure out a way to navigate it. And remember that you can still keep your eye on the prize and not be so committed to how you get there. And that can actually make things happen a lot faster in a more organic way that feels better. So as long as you're focusing on what the big picture is for yourself, you're going to be met with that externally. So just know that it's about adaptation. It's about being flexible without lowering your standards, and that's like the sweet spot of how you can meet the universe halfway. Okay, and then the word of the month, connection. Explore the commonalities, seek out your perfect fit collaborators and instigators, focus less on how it will be done and more on who you would love to do it with. This gets back to the snake card, you know, not being so committed or locked into how something is happening, but just focusing on like how you want to feel or what process you enjoy. Those types of questions are going to be more important at this time. Okay, let's look at the central energy for you this month. 9 of Cups, make a wish. So anything you set your sights on, anything that you're wanting, anything that you're calling in, it's like the sky's the limit. I like to remind people whenever the 9 of Cups comes up you don't have to sell yourself short, and you don't have to lower your standards, and you don't have to shy away from like those big dreams that are like borderline nauseating because they're scary to talk about. Those are the things you want to lean into and focus on whenever possible. So ask for more. Like this is the month to do it. The crossing energy is the 10 of Wands, so maybe you've taken on too much independently and you need to get some stuff taken off of your plate, or maybe you could use some support. Great time to call on angels. Great time to bring things to an end that are no longer serving you, because that's the thing. If you're carrying a bunch of weight that really isn't serving you in the long term, then why would you carry it in the short term? Like that's what this card is reminding you about. That's what this card is reminding you about. And you might find that if you let go of some of the things that are adding to that feeling of stress, responsibility, and heaviness, that you can actually get more done that is more aligned with what your actual dreams are. So just make sure you're paying attention. Are you wasting your time or carrying a bunch of unnecessary weight that's adding to the stress, or do you need to delegate something or outsource something or get help or find a way to cultivate some support for yourself? Like no matter what your circumstances are, the solutions are infinite. It's just about thinking them up to begin with and then taking action. So what's shifting out for you in March is the Lovers. So I'm sure there's like the initial like gut reaction might be, oh no, it's a relationship that's coming to an end or whatever. But of course that's not going to be for everybody. So this is more contextual. It's based around like some decisions that you've made in the past, because the Lovers represents decision making. This can also represent a Gemini in particular, whether the relationship was romantic or not. And to clarify, we have the High Priestess. So this is wanting you to put your attention back on your own intuition. The Lovers this was like a big learning moment, or I mean, a more appropriate way to describe a lesson is to remember information that you lost along the way. And so I think that's what this whole experience of the Lovers shifting out, however it happened, that was helping you to remember either a part of yourself, a way you make decisions. Maybe this was like an error or something that wasn't exactly working for you that's shifting out. So there's like a lot of decision making. This could also be like a relationship that you had with somebody, whether it's romantic or not, doesn't matter. But the High Priestess is kind of like, let that wisdom sink in. Whatever decision you made and maybe had to throw away or had to bring to a close, or maybe you had to change direction, that is something where it's like all of that is going to be solidified and integrated into your, astral body, essentially. And that's going to help you shift gears moving forward. Let's see what the oncoming energy is. We have the Six of Pentacles, so making way for reciprocity and more reciprocal relationships. This would make a lot of sense if you have kind of been carrying everyone else's weight and maybe you had to let go of some form of dysfunctional way that you were going about things. That could also be the Lovers. It makes space for you to receive more. So having that, rather than having to carry everything on your own, instead delegating and dispatching and seeking help and seeking support is how you're able to better experience relationships that are reciprocal and are about give and take and are really housed in balance. That this is like gold for you, because this is where you're striking a balance between the Lovers in the healthiest version of that, and the responsibility piece of the 10 of Wands, where it's like, of course you're going to have responsibility, but the idea that you have to take on more than everyone else just because you can, or just because you can endure it, is, that's not necessary. It's like there's a lot of ways to do things. So I'm just getting that this was more like a learning experience, and it's kind of helping you to shift your ways into something that is more supportive of you overall and is going to help you get to this place of Nine of Cups, which is about fulfillment to the highest degree. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move to your external environment, external influences. This month we have the Ace of Wands, so lots of energy. This is just a really vibrant month. It's kind of like I see you as waking up a lot of energy within yourself and being able to cultivate a lot of energy. Great month to start projects or like refine something. And I know that Mercury is going to be in retrograde, so maybe don't launch anything, but you can absolutely initiate and start making things happen and start making moves, and you're going to have the energy to do it. So I would say focus more on your energy levels than a retrograding planet, in my opinion, because this can be kind of fleeting, and we have ups and downs. Our energy changes all the time, so this is just nice to really capitalize on. And it might be easy this month to cultivate resources in a way that you might not get in other months, especially with the connections card. Meeting new people, networking is going to be really important. If you're looking for the right connections, or if you're calling in a specific person, network. That's going to be the best thing for you to do this month. Now, this is advice for manifestations. So whatever you are calling in, whether it be money, a new home, a partner, friends, we have the Two of Wands. You are holding space for this person to make an appearance. I don't know why I said this person, for this thing to make an appearance. And remember that your embodiment plus the action that you take is how you're going to get to the point where they appear. So the Two of Wands is just reminding you that there is a little bit of a waiting game that takes place, but it's kind of like you want to create the nest and set the stage and kind of behave in a way that is going to result in that thing that you want and coming towards you, right? So if you're looking to manifest more money, but you're unwilling to spend a few dollars on yourself, you're communicating something that you're communicating poverty when you're actually trying to move into affluence. So it's kind of like just be cautious of that, be really mindful of that. And so this is just about like the waiting as well as setting your energy up to get that thing that you're calling in. It's more about embodiment, less about force this month. So the more connections that you make, the faster things are going to come in. Okay, this is what's growing for you. We have the High Priestess again. That's the same card that was over here. A lot of wisdom is just coming in. I think like all the feedback, all the data that you're getting from your experiences or what you've been through over the past few months is really, really like you're laying the concrete for being able to build something much greater than you have in the past. And so that actually makes a lot of sense with the Lovers here. This could have been something you were focusing on building or creating, or decisions that you were setting yourself up to achieve, and then kind of having a come to about what it is that you're actually desiring. So it looks like there's a shift in passion is the way I would describe it, and you kind of needed to have that wake up in order to really understand what your values are, what's important to you, and being able to move forward. Because we constantly have to update and figure out what it is that we value. It's not stationary over time, and you do have to go through and ask yourself and take inventory of what do you care about? How do you want to feel? It might evolve. Okay, what's in abundance in March. Four of Swords, so opportunities for self-care and rest are going to be big. I'm getting a lot of that, especially with the Ten of Wands. It's kind of like, okay, if you're really dispatching and delegating and getting things taken off of your plate as often as you can, you're going to see a lot more energy come through as a result of that. And then to clarify, we have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is kind of like you have to be able to sustain your energy for the long term, which is why taking breaks is so important. Look at this as, you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Most people are building for long term, but might be more impatient than they should be given what their goals are. So it's relative based on how far out you're planning, based on what you're building. Like career, for example, if that's something you're really focused on, it takes a long time to build a career. And so you want to just give yourself adequate time, space, and energy to achieve the things that you want to achieve. And the Four of Swords is kind of like, all right, if you need a break, you can always ask for it. Like you can always either manifest some delegation, manifest an easier schedule. You can call all of those things in. So, you know, give it a shot and you're going to find that you're able to sustain things more. Because the Seven of Wands is the feeling of being burnt out or like spinning your wheels in the mud and not gaining any traction. And so the remedy is you have to get into a space where you can rest adequately. All right, let's move into the timeline. So if you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. But we have the first quarter, so this will be like where you start off the month of March. Second, third, and fourth quarter, that'll be where you end. I say quarter instead of week because time is fluid. And so the first quarter, we have the Fool, starting new things. And this is the transition right here, like with the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Wands, realizing, you know, you do need connections. You might be able to get the majority of stuff done on your own, but I highly doubt you can do everything on your own. So having to take that new approach of including people in your process, if that's something that's difficult for you or challenging or something you continue, maybe you're really good at it, but it's still a practice for you. And so the Fool is just like, try a new approach, innovate, because if you're innovating, you're keeping things fresh, you're going to be able to adapt to whatever it is you have coming up, and that's the key to long-term success. And then we have the Empress. This is focusing on embodiment, like what I was telling you with the Two of Wands. Embody what you want to manifest. Take attitudes that are in alignment with what your manifestations are. Take actions that are in alignment with what your manifestations are. And the Empress is divine feminine. So all the way that you can be feminine is through that embodiment and attracting. So pulling things in towards you rather than pushing energy out. So this is an important stage in the month where you're kind of focusing on what you're bringing to the table. Quarter three, King of Cups. Be vulnerable and honest, especially if you're having a hard time or if you do need help. Like, this is going to be really, really important. And if you've been praying for ease, or if you want things to be easier, but you're unwilling to be vulnerable, then it's going to be really hard for things to meet you. It's going to be really hard for ease to be welcomed into your life if you're rejecting it or if you're like pushing away help. So just, I know that with all of the fixed energy that Taurus has, that Taurus energy, it can be really hard to let things go or to not do everything your way. Or, I mean, it's easy to go there, but I'm just getting that you're evolving into being able to do that more confidently and being more honest about that as well. Okay, and then the fourth quarter wrapping up March, we have the Seven of Cups. Tons of options appear. Tons of opportunities pop up for you. So it looks like the payoff is well worth it, because the Seven of Cups is just showing that after all this time, after all this work, you're finally in a position where you can really see all the different avenues that are accessible to you. And the beauty of it is that you just get to decide whichever one is best for you in this moment. There's no wrong way to go, really. You're not gonna mess it up. You're not gonna make a wrong turn. Like, if you're focusing on what feels best, right, and true for you and is helping you to live to the highest potential of yourself, you're not gonna go wrong. Now we're gonna do a 3-card pick. So you can pick card 1, 2, or 3. Pick as few or as many cards as you like. Ask a question. And card number 1, we have, ignore the reversal. We have the Mother of Wands. So this is the Queen of Wands, high energy, and also being really guarded with the things that you do have going on. Because you can see she is not letting any of those eggs out of her sight anytime soon. So it's, that might actually help you free up a little bit of space if you can leave a little wiggle room here with whatever you're holding on really tight to. Maybe try to loosen your grip on this month, and that's going to help it's going to help you breathe life into the situation or into the project if you create a little bit more flow and a little bit more flexibility, rather than trying to like smother it or have such a tight grip on it that it turns into dust. Okay, card number 2, we have the Daughter of Swords. Page of Swords, new ideas, fresh thoughts and perspectives. It's going to be a really good idea for you to consider people's opinions, consider people's thoughts. There might be a lot of good information, but that doesn't mean that everyone's thoughts are correct. It doesn't mean that there's one person that's right and one person that's wrong. It takes a collective body of information to really tease out the truth, and the more ownership you have over the information that you accept as truth, the better off you're going to be. So this is like, explore the thoughts that other people have, explore other people's opinions and ideas without hitting the accept button a little bit prematurely. So explore ideas, be open to them, but don't buy in yet. And then card number 3, 10 of Pentacles. Man, this has come up for so many signs. Foundation. It's all about long term. Like, if you're wondering what to do in the moment, focus long term. Like, that's the best way to deal with this card, because it's giving you those reminders of what your true potential is way far out, and you just have to focus on that in the present moment. Keep that in mind. Have absolute conviction and belief in your ability to get the 10 of Pentacles, however you're looking for this to manifest. And you're going to see a lot of opportunities shine through, even if you don't know who they're going to come from yet or how that's going to play out. So focus long-term, big picture. That's going to be really important for you. All right, my friends, that is all that I have for you this month. I hope you've enjoyed this reading as much as I've enjoyed reading for you. And until next time, have a lovely, lovely March, everybody. And don't forget, if you want to work with me one-on-one, go to onyxhealing.com, or you can check out the description box. And I do monthly love and relationship readings. If you're interested in that, or sign-specific weekly readings, you can head over to my Patreon. The description is in the link is in the description box as well. And if you are not already following me on Instagram, what are you even doing? We've been having a ton of fun on there, so go follow me. It's at Onyx Healing, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.